Well, we did it. We actually did it, you guys! That's right, Yuzo Koshiro has been confirmed as one of the composers for Streets of Rage 4. That's like music to my ears. And I'm sure to fans of the Streets of Rage series as well. Yeah, so I went to work this morning, per usual, opened my email, started checking press releases I've gotten, and lo and behold, I noticed one released by .emu, which is the company working on Streets of Rage 4. And it pretty much said, hey, Yuzo Koshiro is one of the composers for Streets of Rage 4. I'm like, wait, what? Yes, finally, yes! This is exactly what all of us Streets of Rage fans have been waiting for. Yeah, so my early gaming years were during the 8-bit and 16-bit era, and Streets of Rage was definitely one of the titles that I vividly remember back from those days. I mean, I played that and the second game a lot with my brother, and that was even back when I still didn't have the Mega Drive, which is what the Genesis was called in Japan and Asian territories. So my brother and I would go to this gaming cafe. It wasn't quite an internet cafe because there was no internet back then. But yeah, you can go to one of these cafes and pay money to play games for a certain amount of time, and the first Streets of Rage was one of the games we played over and over and over. So I was pretty stoked when they announced a Streets of Rage 4, because we've been waiting for a title like this for the longest time. Even Yuzo Koshiro says in this video that .emu released as part of today's announcement that he actually pitched doing a sequel to Streets of Rage several times to Sega, but they weren't interested at the time. And this was about 2 decades or so ago. So of course when Streets of Rage 4 was announced, one of the things that fans kept asking about was who's going to do the music? And is Yuzo Koshiro going to be involved? Because the music was such a big part of the original game, especially the first 2. And Streets of Rage 3's music was fine too, but it was the first 2 games I thought had the best music in the series. And so when the announcement trailer was released for Streets of Rage 4, the music was one of the things that also got a lot of comments, because people obviously wanted to know if Yuzo Koshiro was going to be involved. So I even did a video 10 months ago where I took the original trailer and then I put original Streets of Rage music in it, and it actually got a lot of good feedback, or got a lot of likes. And it was obvious that a lot of people were pining for that original music. So today it was announced that Yuzo Koshiro is involved, but in addition to him, 4 other musicians were included as well. So the other one is Motohiro Kawashima, which should be familiar to fans of the series as well because he worked on Streets of Rage 2 and 3. But the other 3 additions were interesting as well. You've got Yoko Shimomura, who is well known for doing the music for Street Fighter 2, as well as Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and Super Mario RPG, Legend of Mana, and Parasite Eve. And I definitely recommend watching the Behind the Tracks documentary that they released today as part of the announcement, because Yuzo Koshiro makes some pretty interesting comments and how things were at that time when they were making the original Streets of Rage while Yoko was working on Street Fighter 2. So those first 3 names are obviously pretty big, but don't sleep on the other 2 as well. The 4th person is Hideki Naganuma, and he worked on Jet Set Radio and Future, Super Monkey Ball, and Sega Rally 2. And the last person that was announced was Keiji Yamagishi, and he worked on Ninja Gaiden, Tecmo Bowl, and Captain Tsubasa. I mean, even to this day, I'd say that Ninja Gaiden 2, or Ninja Ryukenden 2 back in Asia, remains my favorite game of all time, just because of the impact it had on me when it first came out. I just thought it was such a great game. And the series as a whole was really good because it pioneered cutscenes and video games, and the gameplay was tight too. It was really hard, but it was really good. Yeah, and I love the music in the first Ninja Gaiden game as well, so it's great to see that Keiji Yamagishi is also involved. The executive producer of Streets of Rage 4, I believe his name is Cyril Imbert. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. He might be French, so I'm probably totally butchering it. But he shared a comment, and he pretty much said, among these names stand some of the most legendary and memorable musical architects in video game history. Since we first announced the title last fall, fans have been asking who will be involved in the game's soundtrack, as it is a vital element to the Streets of Rage games. We are thrilled to confirm this world-class lineup of musical talent for Streets of Rage 4. So I'm not sure if this was the plan right from the start, but regardless, all the fan comments about the music, including the posts online or even videos that were made, those still made an impact. And even Yuzo Koshiro himself said that he checked those out to see what fans were saying. And he noticed that a lot of people were pretty much saying that they expect the music to be kind of the same style as the original games. And so that actually influenced his decision as well, because even though he said he wanted to make music that he wasn't able to do before, which is still the case, but he actually made a comment about saying it was a good idea for him to use the tools that he used back then, and so he made that decision after seeing the comments online. Anyway, what do you guys think of the addition of these bevy of composers for Streets of Rage 4? As always, please feel free to share any thoughts or questions you may have in the comment section. Once again, this is Tabi Asobi, and thank you for watching. Grandpa! Oh, that was bad.